Well, terror is again rocking the heart of the nation. 3 terror attacks have been carried out across Jerusalem and the West Bank in the last 12 hours alone, leaving dozens injured. Now, most recently, an Israeli has been injured in a West Bank shooting attack near the Dolev settlement in Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank. And the Magen David Adom ambulance service says the victim is fully conscious with a light injury. The terror incident was apparently a drive-by shooting, and the assailant has fled the scene.
This comes less than 2 hours after yet another shooting, this time in Jerusalem's Old City. An Israeli police officer was injured after being shot at by an Arab Israeli resident of Haifa. And that shooter has later been identified as a man in his 40s who was recently converted from Christianity to Islam.
Meanwhile, 14 people, including 12 soldiers, have also been wounded in Jerusalem in a suspected car ramming attack this morning. Police and medics say that 2 of the victims have been injured seriously.
כוחות משטרה שהגיעו למקום ביצעו סקירה של הזירה. אכן במקום נראו מספר צעירים שמקבלים טיפול ראשוני על ידי מד"א. כוחות משטרה ביצעו מרדף אחר הרכב שכרגע אנחנו במצוד אחר הרכב כדי לנסות לאתר אותו.
The incident is reported to have occurred just shortly before 2 in the morning, and the suspect drove into the Israeli crowd as they were standing on the sidewalk next to the first station, an entertainment hub in the capital. But in seconds, the driver both hit his alleged targets and was off, fleeing the scene. And while the suspect's car has since been found outside of Bethlehem, the suspect, him or herself, is still at large. Now, this incident also follows dozens of other clashes across Gaza and Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank, that have increased in severity in the wake of the United States peace plan. The Hamas terror group in Gaza, for one, has been calling on all Palestinians to step up their confrontations against Israel, and many have answered the call, throwing stones, Molotov cocktails, and more all over the region.
In related news, Palestinian violence hasn't only been shaking the capital. As we've discussed, it's also been spreading wildly across the West Bank and Gaza, and Prime Minister Netanyahu is now threatening severe action.
Starting in Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank, 17-year-old Palestinian Mohammed al-Haddad has reportedly been killed by a shot to the heart in Hebron. He was taking part in violent riots in response to the United States' peace plan. Then in Jenin, more clashes broke out as soldiers were demolishing the home of terrorist Ahmed Kunba. Kunba assisted in the attack that killed Rabbi Raziel Shevach in 2018, and his home was originally demolished that same year, but it's since been rebuilt. Still at the demolition site, Palestinians opened fire upon and threw explosives at Israeli troops, who responded with force, killing 1 Palestinian police cadet and injuring another. But it's not yet clear if they were participating in the riots or just hit at the crossfire. The IDF, however, says that they were fired upon first, firing back in response. Now, as for Gaza, 2 mortars have just been fired into Israel overnight, and the IDF hit multiple Hamas targets in return. But at least 13 rockets and mortars and dozens of explosive balloons have been launched into Israel from Gaza every day for the past week, and several Israelis are injured. One victim includes a 3-week-old infant who was seriously hurt when dropped by her mother as they were running to safety. Then in another incident, kindergarten staff in southern Israel can be seen desperately hurrying their crying kids to the shelter away from an explosive balloon that floated towards their play area. Well, IDF spokesperson Hidai Zilberman says that the IDF will not allow this situation to continue. And then, similar to his threats in September, Prime Minister Netanyahu says that if necessary, a large military operation in Gaza could come about before elections.
The Palestinian Authority has cut all ties to the United States and Israel, including security coordinations in Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank. Or at least that's what Palestinian Authority President Abbas is telling the world while speaking to the Arab League in Cairo.
نبلغكم هنا بأنه لن يكون هناك أي علاقة معكم ومع الولايات المتحدة. قلنا نفس الكلام لأمريكا بما في ذلك العلاقات الأمنية في ضوء تنكركم للاتفاقات الموقعة والشرعية الدولية.
You heard the man. All ties have been cut between the Palestinian Authority and the United States and Israel, including security coordinations. And it's all because of the United States' peace proposal, which Ramallah rejected long before it was unveiled. But quietly speaking, senior officials in the PA say that no such thing has occurred. In fact, in an interview with the Times of Israel, the official says that until now, coordination is ongoing, but relations are extremely tense. That said, it was always suspected that coordination would continue because Israel helps the PA fend off terror groups like Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, as well as lone wolf attackers. Meanwhile, Palestinian officials are also now jumping on the anti-land swap bandwagon, sparked by the so-called deal of the century's suggestion that the future state of Palestine should absorb Israeli Arab cities in the Triangle. The Triangle is an area southwest of Haifa on the border of the West Bank, and it includes 14 Israeli Arab towns with over 260,000 residents who often identify as Palestinian themselves. But the Triangle communities have started protesting the idea of losing Israeli citizenship, and now so is the PA. Authorities in the Palestinian Authority's Prime Minister's office say that even if a state is established under the Trump plan, the PA will not include these towns. And anyway, they say that the plan is unrealistic because it requires consensus, which it certainly does not have.